diabolical. Even Darth Vader subscribed.
Yes, Darth Vader subscribed to /tube.
Welcome back to a series so diabolical. Even Darth Vader subscribed. In today's video, Hassan is getting absolutely obliterated for his appearance on the NPR podcast. He's now trying to brigade it with his fans, trying to change his PR. Hassan has brought yet another Hassan orbiter in the back to sit in his puck chair. Meanwhile, he goes on unhinged rants about Asmongold and Ethan. Hassan orbiting moon Frogan is in gigantic trouble. Time is running out and her tactic of hiding from Ethan is not working. YouTuber and lawyer Legal Mindset is calling her out, and a bunch of more updates. Subscribe for endless entertainment, the likes of which you've never seen before. Take it away, Jellywig.
Let's up those numbers!
Now let's begin with...
Okay, so the girl with the, I don't know what's called that she was wearing, the head cover, she quite literally has been one of Hassan's primary orbiters, taking content that he has left over and streaming it herself. But because of what she's been doing and things she said about Ethan, she was sued. And she has 5 days to respond to the suit. However, she has not and believes in hiding. She even raised $50,000 to fight it, but there's a possibility she's taken that money and made a run for the hills. Her fans really got played.
This video, Hassan Piker, a himbo gateway drug to the left. It's been a minute. And basically, Hassan appeared on this podcast and was questioned on a bunch of things like masculinity, politics, and a bunch of other topics. And turns out the comment section is absolutely cooking him. So Hassan is trying to send his audience to try and change the narrative. So here we have the comments. Not sure that promoting 10 toes down with the Houthis is going to yield great results, to be honest. FYI, this guy said that people who support capitalism should be put into re-education camps and that freedom of speech should be banned after communism is installed in the US government. Why was there zero pushback on this or any of his horrible violent beliefs? Pro promotes terrorist propaganda on the regular. Bro needs to be on a watch list. My favorite streamer who definitely didn't endorse Hamas, Hezbollah, and other civilian murdering terrorists. Or
So, to put this in reference, Hassan made some weird takes, as he always does. But the biggest issue is, with people like him, is they don't seem to understand what it's like to live in a communist society, a socialist society, and see how badly those things fail you. Hassan comes from a rich family. He's never wanted, he's wanted for nothing. And I don't know what it is with all these kids these days that come out of these rich households and they start taking advantage of victimhood and socialism. I don't get it. Why they act like that. They lived, like, their lives were not terrible. So why are they pushing for it? I don't know. Maybe they just are pushing for it because they don't want to have to do anything. Who knows? Whatever the reason is, socialism, boo.
Hassan claims his NPR podcast is being brigaded, instructs his audience to control the narrative.
The Americans, as a matter of fact, for example, have
comment sections are bullshit self-care. Oh no, they're being heavily brigaded. Which, of course, obviously, it is upon you, chatters, to go fucking seize control over the narrative and show support to NPR, which is unfortunately in a dire state and needs the support.
Okay, so basically you want them to brigade the comment section. Like, you're literally criticizing people for brigading while doing the exact same thing. Also, I don't think this comment section was brigaded. Literally nobody talked about this. This is people just organically noticing that you're a extremist freak who should not be allowed to associate with anyone and platform your propaganda. You're literally out here trying to send your audience to try and change the narrative on the video, and it didn't even work. Like, all the top comments are still just cooking you, and that's after you sent thousands of people to try and fix your PR. I mean, how absolutely pathetic is that? Dude, this guy can't handle the slightest bit of criticism. He always has to try and manufacture good PR. And, you know, that's why the only, like, articles he reads are, like, his simp journalist friends. I think it's time to accept the fact that nobody likes you, dude. I wonder what would have happened to Hassan's career if he actually didn't say dumb stuff. To be fair, he just wouldn't have a career, so I guess that's why he says dumb stuff. Anyway, so let's actually check out the video. So first they talk about that title that he's like a himbo drug to the left or something.
You know, Hassan, I don't know if I've ever heard the term himbo gateway drug before. Is that how you describe yourself?
Yeah, I think that nails it, I guess. Just gateway drug to empathy.
Gateway
in
drug to
a
empathy.
himbo format.
Ah yes, Hassan Piker, the absolute personification of empathy itself. Bro spent a couple days with iDubbbz and downloaded the entire PDF for empathy. I mean, to be fair, Hassan has reached the age of 32, so I guess it kind of makes sense. The thing with Hassan's empathy though is that it's only for his side, and it's absolutely zero empathy for anyone that even mildly disagrees with you. So it's empathy for people like Frogan, you know, who's like, oh, I can't believe you guys are calling her fat. This is the most horrible thing in the world. Meanwhile, here he is trying to ruin Ethan's life for like a 1% disagreement. By the way, if you didn't know, himbo means like a good-looking but unintelligent man. So basically like a stupid meathead. Also, is it
So it's
just
a real
me,
word.
or does he look like he aged 15 years in this like podcast setting or whatever? Brother, what meds are you actually on? Is this like does roids do this, or like what is going on here? Anyways, this next part he talks about games being political.
Bros, I think, are often stereotypically considered to be conservative. Why do you think like these activities, like working out, video games, etc., why do you think they are so conservative coded?
I wouldn't say they're necessarily conservative coded. I would just simply say that they are easier to be branded as apolitical. I mean, there's a very funny long-standing joke or meme in the gaming sphere where people will say, oh, why do you have politics in my video games? Like, get politics out of my video games is like this rallying cry from Gamergate onward, and it usually is deployed at any video game that has like a black female protagonist, and then immediately that's like being considered as political. It's like the two genders, you know, white man and political. And these guys will unironically say things like Call of Duty is not political, or Call of Duty wasn't political until there was like a black woman in it. Yeah, they just don't understand that like Call of Duty has of course always been political. I mean, it's you know, sometimes making a criticism of American imperialism. In other instances, it's quite literally defending American imperialism, but it's never not political.
Yeah, dude, let me give you a massive spoiler here. Most people don't give a shit about that stuff. They just want to shoot stuff. When I play COD, I'm not thinking of the underlying political undertones, all right? I'm not that fucking miserable. I just want to shoot some people in a video game. Dude, this guy has to turn everything into the most miserable, cringe, political war ever, bro. Life is not about that. And this guy has the audacity to say, my favorite anime is One Piece, guys. And it's not because of the characters, the world building, the story, you know, somewhat like reasonable, normal ways to like an anime, right? Instead, it's because, well, it's actually the underlying political message that really draws me in here. You know, like my real life terrorist friend here, right? He's just like Luffy, don't you see? He's oppressing the tyrannical government, of course. Bro, Hassan gotta be like the biggest buzzkill in the world. You just know this dude brings it up in every conversation ever, annoying the heck out of everybody. Like, everybody will just be having a good time, and then
Hassan Piker is the kind of person who'll throw words at a subject and hope no one calls him out on what they mean. That's how I feel when I watch him. I feel like he just says something to add a word to it and make it sound like it applies to that.
goes, but have you thought about the political and economic state of the world right now? Goes to Thanksgiving and I'm like, guys, I can't believe you're eating a turkey when there's a genocide going on. This is actually unacceptable, guys. Please donate. Please donate to my stream first, then Gaza, of course. Right, so this next part, he talks about his audience demographics, and this gotta be the biggest cap, bruh.
Who do you think your audience is, and what do you think they see in you?
My audience is pretty diverse, I would say. It's like quarter female, 75% male, which is 18 to 35-year-old men for the most part. And a lot of them are white. A lot of them are atheist or agnostic. A lot of them are in college and education, or have just started their jobs.
But what do you think they are looking for from you? What do you think they like see in you that keeps them engaged?
I think that they want a shared space.
Yes, of course. They just want a shared space. They just want a safe space, guys. A safe space to support terrorism, of course. Very safe for everybody except civilians, I guess. Your demographic is literally terrorist supporters, like actual radical extremist far lefties, or in more recent times, blatant anti-Semites. Your audience is literally filled with Mike from PAs, bro. People who lose boxing matches to couches. People with absolutely failed lives who have got nothing better to do than see the entire world burn. This guy trying to pretend that his audience is like somewhat normal.
Yeah. Hassan comes from a very well-established family. His father is not poor by any means, and yet somehow he put himself in this space and literally takes advantage of people too dumb to see that it's just wrong. A lot of these people that are subscribed, followed, or going around with him are probably people that just think that no one understands them and they have no place to be. And a lot of it is because of choices they made in their life, and they just refuse to accept those changes and move on. So they go to their safe space, which apparently is his chat on Twitch, and they watch his content. And they like it because it resonates with them when he says something. And that's an important thing to take away from this, is the ability to resonate with a certain group of people. And he definitely does, but not in a good way. And I'm surprised, for as long as he's been on and all the stuff that I'm learning about it, what he's done and said is some of the craziest things I've heard. I just can't understand how people that come from well-off families become socialists. They've wanted for nothing, but they're socialists now. They see the plight of people that are not making as much money as them, and they think they understand it, but they don't. I don't know. It's a strange thing. I'll never understand it.
Or the average person is just so ridiculous. Like, no regular well-meaning person is watching Hassan Piker and thinking, yeah, well, that's a pretty reasonable guy. I actually really agree with all of it.
He's right, but there are reasonable people who are trolls and just like to instigate the chat. So they join Hassan's stream and just kind of say whatever to get people mad.
His opinions here. Moving on to this next part, he's crying about Asmongold again. Who would have thought, guys? It's another Tuesday, but this time he's got pathological liar Noah Samson in the cuck chair to absolutely glaze him while he goes on unhinged rants. So it's like every week he has another person sit in that chair to be absolutely degraded and humiliated, from iDubbbz to a bunch of random other people. Like, he just keeps cycling them out over and over, trying to pretend he actually has friends. By the way, if you missed a couple episodes of the series, Noah Samson is another Hassan orbiter and a YouTuber who is one of the most pathetic people on the planet. He lies constantly, misrepresents every single situation, literally a Hassan clone here. And this is a guy who said that we need to escalate, guys. We have direct physical access to the propagandists, the weapons, the politicians, etc. And essentially just implying that he wants to incite violence. Like, this guy's completely nuts.
We have direct geographical, physical access to the politicians, the propagandists, the weapons companies, and the supply chains that are facilitating this genocide. If we want this genocide to stop, it's time to escalate.
So here they're talking about how Asmongold doesn't actually stream for money, but more like validation.
The reason why I brought...
So was he actually saying to overthrow the government? Because if he was, he should be arrested already. Is that what he's saying? Did he literally just say that and nothing was done? Oh my god. Dude wasn't even subtle about it. He said it directly.
brought up how he lives is because, one, he does live in filth. Okay, the fuck are you talking about? And two, that plays a role in this. It's not like I'm talking about how he doesn't give a shit about making extra money. People are wrong when they think he's doing this just for money. He's not doing it for money. You're misunderstanding the motivation here. Okay, make with that information what you will, but he's not doing this for money.
He's already got money. He's a millionaire. Asmongold likes to stream and talk to share his viewpoints. It's just what he likes to do. It's something he enjoys. He doesn't have to do it for the money. He does it because he can. And he's not a crazy hobo living out of a shed with a computer talking in tongues that you can't understand. The man's points are valid, and he speaks them very well when trying to get his point across. I may not agree with a lot of the stuff he says, but there's some stuff of his I do agree with. Hassan, I disagree with everything he says. Everything I've seen. The guy is a walking revolutionary in the making, and it's not good.
Doing this for validation. He's doing this for building a sense of community. He's doing this for having a shit ton of yes men. And
a shit ton of yes men. Dude, that's what you have. You have a shit ton of yes men. Asmon doesn't have a whole bunch of yes men because the majority of the time he argues with his chat. You don't watch his streams or his clips where he gets into it with people, and he literally gives them a chance to make their point when he pulls up their chat log and says, all right, tell me how I'm wrong, and then explain it. There's times where he gets a little ridiculous where he's like, well, that's wrong and I disagree with that. And I get it, you can do that. But he does something that you don't, Hassan. He engages with his chat and talks to them. And he does it often. That's his entire thing. He doesn't ignore them. Like, one time he made a comment, and I'm trying to remember what it was about. It was about, I think, Chuck Norris or Bruce Lee. It was about a martial artist where he made some weird comment, and it pissed off the entire chat because they disagreed with him. Everybody disagreed with him. And he was just like, whoa, I've really set off chat. Oh my God, chat's pissed at me for that. Oh wow, you guys really believe that? And he's had those instances where the whole chat just like flips on him like, holy crap, what are you talking about? And he accepts that. He knows when he's lost. He admits when he's wrong, and he admits when he thinks he's right. He may have an ego with it, but I can promise you one thing. Unlike you, Hassan, he engages with his chat, which is very few and far between with any of your orbiters or the people you've engaged with. You don't engage with your chat. You just talk or disappear from your chair numerous times for videos. You're the reason why H3H3's got the lawsuit with the transformative content. With no transformative, just the empty chair.
If you do that because you have good takes, right? If you want to cultivate a community of yes men over your takes on like Blizzard, that's only going to take you so far, right? But if you just lean in to
he's a variety streamer. Asmongold is a variety streamer. I can't iterate this enough. He is a variety streamer. He plays games that he wants to play. He talks about talking points he wants to talk about. He talks about subjects he wants to talk about. He engages with his chat through almost every conversation. He's literally watching chat the entire time while talking and then looking back, and he's looking to see if anybody's made a point or a valid criticism that he wants to confront. Because he wants people to disagree with him so he can fight them about it. That's what he wants. He likes people that disagree with him if he's got to talk to them. But not disagree in a stupid way. See, that's the thing you're not getting. He went from Warcraft to a variety streamer to a transmog thing, and then to a variety streamer again. He's just a variety streamer. That's what he does.
existing, very successful political movement, that is a much easier way. That is a much easier way to develop an audience of loyal fans.
How does he do it every single time? He describes himself perfectly while attempting to describe Asmongold, dude. Dude, you yourself have latched onto the Free Palestine movement like a fucking parasite toxin. You know, you take the moderate left and make them more extreme and extreme and extreme. You use the war in Gaza to get followers and money while encouraging more and more extremism, supporting terrorists. And these people are so dumb. They legitimately think that donating to Hassan Piker is somehow helping Palestine. Like, you gotta be the dumbest, actual low IQ lobotomite, bro. And he still has to play victim. Like, he still has to cry, oh, I'm the underdog, guys. My position is actually so unpopular. Yeah, I mean, supporting terrorists tends to be a bit unpopular, man. Also, about Asmongold, isn't it like a good thing that he doesn't do it for money? Because that would be a pretty bad motivation to, you know, have...
He has money. At one point, he was doing it for money. And it stopped being about the money once he had enough money to live on for the rest of his life. He's not interested in, like, companies who, like, it's not enough to just have some of the money. We need all the money. He's not like that. He's like, I'm a millionaire now. I'm content with where I'm at. I invest properly. I do this and that. And this is how I choose to live. And this is what he does. It's about as real as you get.
Have all these opinions and it's all just for money, then you can't really take that person seriously because they're literally doing it for money, right? Now, does he do it for validation? I mean, I don't know. I guess everybody sort of does a bit, right? But more like he probably just wants to talk about shit. Like, why do I make these videos, right? I don't know. It's just kind of fun. Side effect is that, you know, there's generating money and entertaining tons of people, but mostly just because it's a fun hobby to have. Now, the real question is, why do you do this, Hassan? What the fuck is motivating your ass?
Yeah, if he goes over Hassan's family, you'll know why he doesn't have to do this.
Right? To become the most ultimate socialist, grifting, genuinely insane person with the most warped sense of justice I've ever seen. Then a chatter calls him out.
Can't you say that about yourself? Oops, sorry, you're trolling low. What the No, I won't say that about myself, and I don't say that about myself because my positions haven't dramatically shifted over the course of the past 12 years. And also, my position is not a profoundly popular one. A lot of people actually mistake it as a profoundly popular one because of my own popularity in this fucking sphere. So you think that this is like a global movement or something, okay? There is no socialist president.
Wow, you're so cool, Hassan. You're totally...
There is a massive group of socialists that gather together with a bunch of other interesting people. They gather together, and in order to not insult anybody who are pronoun sensitive, they say comrade to each other in this group. And it's a group of thousands. And I forget what it's called. I can look it up, but it's very real. There is a large socialist, communist movement with a group of people that assemble once a year, and they literally do it. It exists. It's a real thing. I'm trying to remember what it's called. Oh, what is it? What is it called? It's a group. I want to see if I can find it, because I think I can. I think I found it. There it is. There it is. DSA National Convention in 2019. This thing was horrible to watch. It was terrible to watch. I cringe every time I listen to it because the amount of catering they have to do for each individual person, for every little thing mentally wrong with each person, they try to cater to and try to benefit to. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. A normal society could never function like this. They could not. Like, I want to watch it now, but we still got to finish this video. But dude, it's cringe. It's cringe-worthy, and it's oh boy.
Totally the underdog here, man. You're fighting against the, like, he legitimately thinks he's the main character in an anime or something. He legitimately thinks he's some sort of like a revolutionary trying to change the world, bro. Like, no, you're just a fucking Twitch streamer. And I just love how he constantly brings on new people to just sit there and watch him mauled at his chat, bro. Like, dude, imagine being one of these absolute cucks sitting right next to him, bro. Wow. He goes and looks to them like, I'm right, guys, right? Please validate me. I have the right opinion, right? You're talking about Asmongold having yes men. Who's the guy right next to you, bro? An actual, like, physical yes man right there. Asmon does whatever he wants and isn't wearing Gucci or trying to flash cash like the insecure bitch that Hassan is projecting so hard here. Every single time he invites someone over, he has to bring up Asmongold. Just ask him out already. Dude, that would be the craziest plot twist of all time. They go on a date. Moving on to Frogan getting absolutely cooked, right?
Okay?
Basically, last time we talked about how she was dodging being served more than 4 times.
We're at the Frogan
Rank
point.
#1 hide-and-seek player in the world somehow. Frogan got some unique abilities there. Basically, she had a week left to respond to Ethan's, lawsuit or whatever, right? And if she doesn't turn up with the lawyer, she basically loses to default judgment, right?
In 5 days. I think this video takes place... Oh, it's just today, so it's been about 3 days. She has 5 days to apply or do something. She raised $50,000 with her community for legal costs and other expenses, as she said. And yet, nothing's been heard from her. No one's seen her. No one knows what's going on, and no one knows what happened to the money. Huh. I wonder what she spent it on. Clearly it wasn't legal, because if she did, she'd have already responded to the summary, to the request.
And there's about 3 days left now, so we're gonna find out very quick. But, well, let's have
2 days going on now.
Break it down as to how legally she actually is.
She has like 5 days to respond to our complaint where she loses by default. And this was last night. So it's probably down to 4 days. That's one of the most legally inaccurate takes ever. Okay. This is from the Starkers. Can't wait to see the case dismissed after Fro. What is she like? First of all, who calls her Fro?
All right. People, and I'm probably a big culprit of this, people with no knowledge on a subject trying to tell a lawyer how they're wrong is the worst thing you can do. I've never done that to somebody, but I know I've had takes where I think I understand, and I try to state how I understand, but there's probably no doubt I'm probably wrong. I mean, I'm probably wrong. But this situation is hilarious to watch.
Like when I hear them call her Fro, it sounds like she's Froyo. Okay? Like I can't not think that she's frozen yogurt.
Wait, frozen yogurt? I said that a couple videos ago. Legal mindset, welcome, another fan of the series.
I would have thought he'd been like offended that he stole his idea. Make him sad.
Baby, I'm telling you, the entire world is watching. Okay, he probably came up with that himself, but I'm telling you, all right, everybody is tuned into the cinema. Trust me, every single person you know, your great long lost grandfather's son's brother-in-law is watching, all right? Even your dog is watching. I'm telling you, when you're not looking, they turn on the Pegasus series because it's just cinema. It's just cinema. No, but honestly, I love how he gives her like cute names like Froggy. Apparently she's a Froggy now. Diabolical. Then this next part, he talks about these snarkers trying to defend old Froggy.
Diabolical.
After Fro files a motion to quash after being improperly served. This dude is such an idiot. He has all of his money and doesn't know what to do with it, so therefore his quack of a lawyer is just taking it.
Ethan Klein's lawyer, thereof lawyers, has been far from a quack. Believe me, the dude knows what he's doing. Or even she, you never know.
From him, LMAO. This is procedurally inaccurate and completely wrong. First of all, let's explain what a default judgment is. Okay. Default judgment is a court ruling in favor of the plaintiff, typically because the defendant does not file a defense or the defendant doesn't acknowledge the claim. So, if you just want to stick your head in the sand and pretend you don't know what's going on, you're likely going to get a default judgment. And beyond that, we all know that Frogan knows about this lawsuit. Like, it's not something that Frogan doesn't know about. It's very public. So it's very clear what's going on here to a judge, that Frogan is trying to dodge this. Frogan is trying to evade this, right?
Oh, 100%. There is basically zero excuse she can use at this point. She can't claim that she was unaware because she has publicly acknowledged it. And honestly, Frogan, all the local McDonald's have been surrounded. We are prepared to take drastic measures in order to capture you. You don't want to harm the patties. Think of the burgers. Think of the lives you will actually be saving, all right? Think of all the innocent patties who won't have to suffer, all right? Just turn yourself in. Come out with your hands behind your back, if she can reach, all right? Come out or we're tossing a salad into the building, all right? You don't need like a flash grenade or anything, just a salad. Just toss one of those in there. She'll come running out. Trust me, okay? We're not playing games.
Dark humor, I bet. Not really. They're making fun of her weight. Yep, they've been doing this. Yoshi's slandered, defamed, insulted other people, so they've been going after her about her weight.
Froggy, we're gonna bring out the heavy artillery, a spinach, a broccoli, cucumber. Anyways, this next part, he talks about how Frogan could possibly object to a default judgment, right? This was the argument the snarkers were making on the Reddit, like, Ethan can't win by default judgment because Frogan can just object because she hasn't been served properly.
However, Frogi Yogi does have a potential opportunity to challenge the default judgment. And she does that with an objection to the default judgment, which is a motion to set aside. So she can make a motion to set aside the default judgment. Not receiving the claim could be if the service, all types of service, were invalid. But I guarantee you that at least one type of service that they used on this, whether it was, hand delivery or publication or some sort of substitute service, was legally sufficient to provide notice of service or sufficient service to proceed with the case. They're not going to issue the default judgment typically if there was completely bunk service, but the burden would be on Frogi to prove that.
Yeah, that is absolutely not happening. Ethan specifically hired a professional server, and in my estimate, it's like 99% chance that it was done in line with the rules. If Ethan got like a faulty server, that would just be highly unlikely. So she is legally considered served at this point. They tried to contact one of her relatives, apparently some African-American 155-pound whatever person, and apparently she's never seen Frogan in her life, which is a blatant lie. Just look up at the fucking sky, right? She's orbiting around the planet. But so if she tries to object to the default judgment, it's probably not going to go well. Her best choice is to just respond in the next 3 days so she's actually cooked. Also, legal mindset, I gotta give it to you. Frogi Yogi, dude, that is an absolutely endearing nickname. Now you're gonna make me feel bad for these people because that's actually kind of cute. But, honestly, even if she loses her job as a streamer and loses a bunch of money, I think she can pay it off. She can take up a job as a magician. For my next trick, I'll make this burger disappear. Right, so this next part, he talks about what happens if Frogan actually wins, right? She objects to the default judgment and she actually wins that motion.
And here's where the snarkers are completely wrong, is even if Frogi objects to the default, and even if the judge grants her motion, if everything goes the same way, you know what the end result is? It's not the case being dropped, kids. It's the case proceeding as normal. So if Frogan goes through all this extra work, all she's going to do is have the case proceed as normal. Literally, somebody in the chat said it. Who said it here? Square one. It's back at square one. Congratulations, Frogan. You literally did nothing. You do all this work for freaking nothing. Wow, queen. Wow. So smart. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Sigma.
Oh my God. A lawyer saying Sigma gotta be like top 10 internet moments. That's how much Hassan orbiters have fried people's brains. We got the lawyer saying Sigma.
Oh yeah, the Hassan orbiters all turned against each other. So It's pretty obvious this is not a group of friends. Or even legit friends.
Flying here. But he's completely right? Escaping default judgment is going to put her back to square one, right? You still gotta win the initial lawsuit that Ethan has against you, and that is just not happening with all the evidence Ethan has shown, even in his public video, and I'm sure he has a bunch of shit behind the scenes as well. So I hate to say it, Frogan, after this, you might actually have to get a small fry. yeah, I know that's like a slur to you. A small anything is like an absolute slur to her, but yeah, you might have to cut back on the budget a little bit, you know. Maybe this will help you. Maybe it'll help you get in shape a little bit because you know, won't be able to afford the 60 million fucking calories, of course. But yeah, after this, he talks about potential fraud because we still have that situation with Frogan's GoFundMe where we don't know where that money actually is.
So here's our lovely Frogie. But she had this legal defense fund, and my concern is, what about the money? What did you do with the cash, Frogan? You're clearly not spending all that money on your lawsuit. And so the question is, where is that money going, Frogan? Is that going to your muffin budget?
This man said muffin budget. Muffin budget. When the lawyer is trolling you, you know you're absolutely cooked, man. Honestly, dude, I haven't had like a muffin in actual years. If Ethan wins this lawsuit, which he absolutely will, when he wins this lawsuit, man, I'm gonna celebrate. I'm gonna buy a whole box of
I hope
muffins
Ethan does not settle.
I might even eat it on camera.
That's my only hope.
Special occasion or something. You know what? I'll change my shirt. I'll even change my shirt, guys. My two promises right there.
And what happens if the funds were diverted to purposes other than the legal defense? That's a possible crime. That's a possible crime. Theft by deception, false pretenses, fraud. This is a type of fraud. Also wire fraud. So we're talking about potential theft or fraud. And once again, this is speculation. If she was misdirecting these funds, she could be fined. There can be restitution, meaning the money is returned to the people that donated, and there can even be prison time. So we need to figure out what's going on with that money.
Dude, if this ends with her getting put in prison, I will actually feel a bit bad. I feel like that is a bit unnecessary. Now, I think this was Legal Mindset's fault. He keeps calling her Frogi Yogi, Froyo, whatever. Now I'm actually, you know, I'm actually starting to take a liking to her a little bit. So, right? So, like, Frogan, just put down the Big Mac and pick up the lawyer, all right? Why make it so hard on yourself? Also, spend the GoFundMe money. Like, that is the reason they gave it to you. Spend it on lawyers. Now, if you've already spent it on DoorDash, I'm sorry you're cooked. Okay, we tried to tell you, but yeah, you can't be doing that. You can't be doing that. Even if you put in your thing personal expenses or whatever, right? So this next part, Legal Mindset talks about the message she actually put in her GoFundMe, right? And basically a bunch of people on Reddit, which is a bunch of unemployed idiots, right, are basically saying that she's allowed to use that money on, you know, personal expenses like food and stuff because she wrote their personal expenses, except that's not exactly how it works.
This fundraiser to cover any and all legal fees associated with this complaint and any counterclaims they have against them. So stop there.
Basically, if she has a lawyer and she goes out to lunch after a long day of spending time with that lawyer going over the case, that counts as a cost that this could be used for. But she can't just use it to go out to a party. That's not okay.
So far, as far as we know, she has not paid any legal fees, and she definitely hasn't filed any counterclaims.
All right.
So as to these two, they're wrong. Now, here's the part where we might get into some debate. This next part, the part I underlined. She puts any other bills, and personal expenses. So she's going to argue, oh, I can put food under that.
Food, of course. Why wouldn't it be?
It could be applied if she went out to lunch after being with the lawyer all day, or having to go over the litigation, or having to file motions, whatever it is. Like, that does count towards the cost, so it could be used for that.
Food, bro. Oh my god, this is so good.
I can put makeup under that because I need to look pretty for litigation. I can do all this sort of stuff. That's a personal expense. I can pay for like 22 layers of cover up. But the problem is, and then the rest of the sentence, from lost wages and damages arising from.
That wouldn't be applicable. I don't believe so. I believe you can only get that after a ruling.
This litigation. Well, the question is when you have arising from, if you're not participating in the litigation, if you're not fighting back, there's no litigation to speak of. Therefore, it's not arising from the litigation. So despite the fact that personal expenses is here and that might be valid, it's in connection with the litigation.
Oh, okay, so that's actually interesting. So she basically has to prove that her 52 Big Macs were actually related to the lawsuit. Well, I mean, I guess you could find a couple.
Name one sandwich from McDonald's or Wendy's or Burger King that ever looked like the picture. They didn't. They never have. They're always like slot buckets.
Arguments for that. Ethan
Maybe the
lawsuit
McRib,
scared me
but
so
that's about
much
it.
I started stress eating, right? So I kind of needed that fuel in order to take on this lawsuit. Also, I was in this massive hide and seek game, you know, this game of tag with Ethan's server, so I needed the energy, the calories to run away. Well, run, you know, that's roll away, maybe something like that, right? Yeah, but honestly, do I actually believe that she's going to, you know, get jailed for fraud or something? Highly unlikely, all right? In all likelihood, if I had to guess, she's just going to respond eventually and then, you know, use the GoFundMe money for lawyer fees. But I don't know at this point. Anything can happen. If you asked me before this that Frogan would be trying to fucking hide from Ethan's server or any of this would be happening, I would have said no. Okay, I would have said that is very unlikely, right? Because that's just so stupid. Like, you immediately, if you're getting sued, you immediately contact a lawyer, you immediately get legal counsel and do the appropriate shit because you have no expertise here. You don't try to do the shit, delete your VODs and shit like that. That's not gonna work, right? So anything can happen at this point, and you know, I just hope the thing that happens brings about the most entertainment and the most amount of videos because I don't care at this point. And also Ethan should win. Yes, of course. That part I care about. Right, so this next part he talks about Ethan's subpoena being granted, right? Because he wanted to uncover the identities of all the Redditors and Discord mods or whatever. And yeah, now he can.
As a reminder, Disloyal Denims literally betrayed the Reddit mods. She stabbed them in the back. She refused to defend them at all. She completely sacrificed them to the corn, and she gave up all of their information. She said, you know what? You can subpoena them. You can get all their information. Once again, this is why these people are going to fold like a sack of cards. They have no loyalty for each other. They don't care for each other at all.
They do not.
All of this, we're one big community, we're one big proletariat. That falls apart. That falls apart immediately when push comes to shove. And Discord and Reddit, I'm telling you right now, and I know this, I have friends that are civil litigators, I've seen this in other cases that we've studied, etc. Discord and Reddit are going to turn over all the data. They do not care. They have no dog in the fight to defend these people. None. Zero. They do not care. They do not want to fight want to go into a huge legal battle over fighting the disclosure information. They're just going to do it. They're going to roll over and do it.
And listen, don't try to erase them. If you erase them now, it's not going to look good.
You guys remember that? You guys remember what that is? Now, obstruction, it can't be obstruction. It can be obstruction, but spoliation of evidence. That is exactly right. That is exactly right. You guys in the class paying attention.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, if
Can't
I
hide
had to
it.
guess, I imagine they've
If you
already
delete
done
it,
that because before even
they'll know.
contacting lawyers, if you're just a layperson, right, that is sort of your knee-jerk reaction to get rid of the evidence and pretend it's not there, right? For their sake, hopefully they didn't actually do that. Obviously Discord and Reddit does not give a single fuck about anything but their bottom line, so they're not going to try to defend these random influencers or Redditors, even if some of the employees might agree with the extreme politics by Hassan and his squad or whatever. But all this theory crafting
They only
that these
agree because they
snipers
just
are doing
wanna
on
be
Reddit,
watchers.
on Twitter, that
They
yeah,
want a
Ethan
safe
is just
space
you
and,
know, not going to amount to anything. This
a
lawsuit's
single
not gonna amount
little
to anything.
tank
I mean,
where
I just
everybody
wanna see
has the
their
same
face, you know,
thoughts.
because it is definitely going to go somewhere, and they're probably going to laugh all the way to bankruptcy at this point because that's just how their Reddit brain goes, you know? Act tough until you get completely cooked. Okay, so this next part, Legal Mindset, has a very interesting image on screen. Obviously, completely unrelated. I don't know who that could possibly be, but legend says Jabba the Hutt is quite a popular character from Star Wars.
First of all, guys, listen, winning is not going to trial. Most cases do
Settle.
not proceed to trial. Less than 3% proceed to trial. If you go to trial, you are a loser. In fact, 97% of cases settle rather than going to trial. right? Trial is a huge tax on your finances, mental state, personal life, right? It's not something fun to go to. Like trial and going to court, you're kind of a loser. You really are. And settlement is an art. It really is an art form. And good lawyers, the ones that get paid a lot of money, are really good at settling and really good at negotiating. And these things are all going to come out. So earlier when I said, hey, you guys should settle, and I gave that genuine advice, I said, hey, turn on the mods, give them up, whatever. That's not enough anymore. That's not enough. Ethan knows he's going to get that stuff at this point. You waited too long. Sorry, you waited too long. So now you've got to give more.
Yeah, I think that ship has sailed too. Like Ethan basically said he's not going to settle anymore. And yeah, I feel like he gave them the perfect deal. Sell out absolutely all of your friends. Maybe you get a chance. You get a little chance, Frogie. But yeah, as days go by, your chance gets slimmer and slimmer, and it's just not looking good at this point. But anyways, Asmongold also reacted to Legal Mindset here.
This is where the snarkers just are completely...
Wait, so are you telling me that a bunch of random Redditors with no degree or any sort of knowledge in this topic whatsoever actually don't know what they're talking about? There's no way.
Is that going to your muffin budget? Because it's certainly not going into responding to the claims.
So are we in a universe where if by her raising money for this legal defense and then she doesn't actually meet it and defend herself, she could actually end up losing 2 court cases at the same time?
Right? Meaning the money is returned to the people that donated.
So the money gets returned to everybody. She loses the lawsuit against Ethan. And she also gets in trouble for fraud. Guys, I don't think I can take this much winning.
Bro, Asmon about to pull a Dan Clancy and start nutting on stream, bro. But honestly, this is crazy, okay? It has been non-stop W's, and this is just how it goes. Like, they started off so completely smug, Danimus was on stream like, oh, Ethan is never gonna sue me. Oh, Ethan has no case on me.
How's the lawsuit going? Nowhere, because Ethan Klein's too much of a sue me. Because he knows he'll lose.
And now completely quiet, all right? Just getting absolutely cooked.
Wow,
and every time I just play that clip from episode 1 of the series where they are just doing the L dance and dancing in the content cop, dude. How the tables have turned. That is the fate of every single Hassan supporter right there. TNC's personal expenses, Frogan, 50,000 personalized muffins, please. Are you kidding me? Just 50,000? Are you talking about just breakfast? Please. Even the 24/7 stoned out mind of Caseytron was able to answer with a lawyer. Maybe Frogan just ate 23 cheeseburgers a day to get the same high. Dude, can we just appreciate the amount of characters and all their distinct personalities here? I just find it so funny, dude. Now,
it is, because Caseytron is always stoned out of her mind, and she actually went out in the middle of a park, poured iodide salt up and around in a circle, and tried to magic her way out of the lawsuit. It's interesting.
Click this video or you become Frogan's personal chef. You're cooked.
Hey there everyone, if you enjoy this content, like and subscribe and comment down below. Thanks again.